Thank you for joining us today on the Sisterhood Leadership Podcast with Dianne Wilson, recorded live from Orange County, California. If you'd like to subscribe, click on the link below, diannewilson.com, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Dianne Wilson. Welcome to our brand new Sisterhood Leadership Podcast. We've been meeting as a sisterhood for over 10 years, and recently we were talking amongst ourselves as leaders on what we could do in this very different season and very different era in the life of our church. 10 years ago, most of the women in our sisterhood were either not married yet, no kids, or they had grown kids and time. So we were able to meet every Friday morning. Well, recently I was looking at how many people were able to come on a Friday morning and how many weren't. And it just seemed like crazy for us to not make some changes so that we could reach more women and help more women develop in their leadership. So we're excited about this new leadership podcast, including different leaders every single week. We're having a conversation. There's going to be questions asked and answered. And my heart is to make everything practical, because leadership has got to apply to our real life, not just in theory. And so thanks for joining us. And we really hope that you enjoy this month as we focus on, of course, our Bible, which we love. We call it the Bible Book Club. And Bible in a year is amazing. This is my 17th year around the block. And of course, this month we're focusing on one of my resources, It's Time, and this is a leadership book. So thanks again for being with us and hope you enjoy. Welcome to our Sisterhood Leadership Podcast for this week. I have with me Lexi Hernandez.
Hi.
This is Lexi. She's like a Disney princess character. So cute.
That's a common theme. Everyone's like, you're watching Disney Channel.
That's right. So Lexi here is actually on our staff, started with us last year, and it's a very big change for Lexi, very big change for us as well. Yeah. Your gift mix is so interesting because observation is you are a total people person.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do administration, but I wouldn't say that's like, you're not a cubicle girl.
No.
No. You'd rather talk. I love the fact that you are conversational and you do take time with people, and it's an endearing quality, and especially how much kids love you. And so we've talked about this, but share what your dream is, because you're 25.
I know, I'm getting up there.
You're half of me, half my age.
Stop.
And our 20s are really interesting because as much as they're fun, your 20s, it should be fun. There can also be that, when am I going to, have my future dreams come true?
Yeah.
And, God's given us a long life, hopefully a long life. And so for it all to happen straight away is not necessarily what's best for us.
Yeah.
So you have shared some of the things that are in your heart. So tell everyone, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so I mean, my whole life I've always been very into like performing arts. So whether it be singing or acting or dancing, like whether it was on stage or off stage, I'm always constantly doing it. And so I think for me, my biggest thing is I've watched a lot of these, pop stars and actresses and even Disney Channel stars kind of gain an influence over like young people. And so my ultimate want is to attain that, but ultimately it's because I want to be able to have a good influence in like young girls or even young boys. I mean, if but like
all my kids love you. My sons love you. My daughters love you.
That's true. I guess boys and girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I just think that there's a lot going on in that industry that I want to be able to be a light in it and kind of set out a positive influence rather than just, what sells, I guess. So. Yeah.
Oh, I can totally see it. And with that beautiful skin of yours, you're going to look, and your mum is so beautiful, your sister's so beautiful, you're going to, keep that youthful no matter when it is.
I know, my mom looks like she's a year older than me. I think I look older than my mom, to be fair.
So who are you closer to, your little sister or your brother, and why?
I think it's a mixture. I think that I'm close with them in different ways. I'm close with my brother because he's only 3 years younger than me, so it was always me and my brother against the world for the longest time. but we're very different. So we do clash a lot. Like, he's actually a lot like Bo, which is funny.
That's my son.
Yeah.
So
it's very brother, like, sister.
Yeah, you guys
like,
get on like really well. And
Yeah.
then if he's like, and then it can be a bit like,
and then sometimes it's like, okay, wait a minute. But then there's my younger sister, and like, she's actually a lot like me. And so there has been clashes there, but in the same way, it's been good, because then it's like we understand each other a little bit more, and she does come to like youth here, and like she seeks God out in her own life, so it's like, so in that way it's pretty, it's just different. So
yeah, I spent time with Lexi recently. I just said, let's go for a walkie-talkie. It all started
the start of the walkie-talkies.
Where if you don't know what a walkie-talkie is, I developed this thing. Whatever. I just called it something.
It's just a fun, so like, because she's doing amazing on her body and soul journey right now. So she goes for walks every day. And so you just decided to kind of mix her pastoral, which I think is a cool leadership thing, is you mix your pastoral side and your body and soul side. So you're able to still walk with someone, but also.
Well, I try. Well, my journey is going okay. It's going to get better. And I don't walk every day, though. I do 5 days a week when I can. And the good thing too is it's different for me. So I say to some girls, come put your name and what time you want to write on my calendar,
the master calendar,
and I'll be like, oh, you're walking with me today, fantastic. And it is true, because time is and the more that life goes on, the more responsibilities you carry, the less time you have. And so I've appreciated doing that and getting the conversation in and the discipleship time in and body and soul.
Yeah.
It's like,
just
it all
of
makes
it.
sense.
500 things at once. If there's anyone who could do it, it's her right here.
Lexi. So when we went walkie-talkie, I just asked you to tell me your story. And
the full hour.
It was. I'm like, wow, this is a movie. Your story is like profound, and you know how much you love your family. And I have this saying, to know is to love, and it's very important for us to take time to get to know people. But as a leader, I know it's important for me to know the people I'm leading, and to not presume certain things, or if there's some kind of attitude or behaviour or some kind of action, and I can't put my finger on why that is a recurring theme in someone's life, and especially if they're asking me for help or advice. Okay, so we just need to hear. So give me, just tell me your story. And it provides context. It provides this knowing and understanding. I think, too, the fact that I've heard you. And so, therefore, it took our relationship as whether I am your boss or whether I am the mother of your friends. Hold on, the mother of your friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the other thing, because you're the.
There's so many dynamics to our relationship.
But to know that I understand you, and to know that I know enough about you that I'm going to, provide that kind of understanding. You are amazing at saying yes. I asked you before we decided to bring you onto staff, what's your biggest weakness? Yeah. And we all have them. Yeah. And I have more than most.
I definitely would say that's one of my weaknesses, is I think that, and I know you've talked about them too, boundaries and stuff. I don't have them. I will say yes to pretty much almost anything, but I do think that it's your biggest strength is your biggest weakness. So the fact that I'm able to say yes to everything, because for me, I'm if I have the ability to, I'm not going to say no. Am I good at it? I don't know, but I have capacity. So
I think it's a really good thing, and I have watched you've got more boundaries than you realize, which is good. And knowing full well that we could, you could end up feeling very overloaded is why it's good to know that about you, so that doesn't, by intention, that doesn't happen. And obviously there's seasons that are busier than other seasons, totally, but you are really quick. You've got a really high capacity, and that's something that you can actually help train other people in, because it's a leadership gift. It's amazing. And I appreciate that about you. I think too, at your age and stage, 25, you are single.
I am.
Now, that's not a goal.
No. I'm okay, though.
Which is okay. That's not the long-term goal, but you are single. You don't have your own kids.
No.
But you do have a little crew of kids all around you often.
Always, yeah.
And so you are sowing into your future. And my suggestion always is, if you don't have a husband yet, then become a really amazing wife before you get one. If you don't have kids yet, go and help with somebody else's kids.
Yeah.
And realize that you're gonna reap that back in your life.
Yeah.
So one of the things we launched last year is Homework Club.
Yeah.
Homework Club, and I know when I was interviewing Kim Bowling recently, we talked about Homework Club and how her new role as Mrs. Manners is really good because the kids are getting taught some old school values. And from the first time we launched in the school year, this current school year, they were climbing the walls.
Oh,
the
it was
kids were
insane.
Outrageous. They were having
we doubled from last year.
That's
so
twice as many
kids didn't know what to do with themselves. They were like, well, there's
and more boys. And
more boys, yeah.
They were having such a party. And I'm like, this is fun, but I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
But the next week, walked in.
Yeah.
They were like...
Well, Miss Manners definitely helped us with that one.
They were very good. So just tell us about Homework Club and why you love it.
Yeah, so Homework Club, I think the ultimate thing with me that I find, like, that I'm watching in these kids is it gives these kids a place to kind of get together and be themselves. Because I think at school, they're very separated by their different groups and their different likes and, whatever. And so, like, it's actually fun to watch the different kinds of kids that come together. And, like, I mean, I know, like, there was one situation, one of the kids actually used to bully another one of the kids. I don't know if and they're now friends in Homework Club. And so I'm like, even if that was the one reason why we started Homework Club, like, to me, that's more than enough. And so, like, to be a part of that, and a lot of the times we do let the kids kind of run, because they're like
just
10.
Don't tell me. Don't
I'm like, well, they're like 10, and I'm like, okay, like, they only get to be kids for so much longer. And, like, going, like, a little bit going back to what I was saying about, like, the influences, I think that kids are forced to grow up very fast.
Yeah,
at 10 years old, they're, like, being asked to, like, wear highlighter and contour. And it's like, you're 10. Why are you buying a $50 palette? And so for me, that's kind of what I kind of let them be kids in that hour. And we, like...
Let me just say, sorry, because I'm sounding like the biggest party pooper.
No.
But the context of that is Homework Club happens at church.
Yeah.
And one of the kids did run through an emergency door.
Yeah.
Like, and fell outside and grazed
There's
his
boundaries
knee.
that we do
grazed
need.
his knee significantly. And this is this kid's first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to meet your mum. She's going to kill me. So for me, it's like, have the best time, but safe.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
safety is definitely key. And that's what Miss Manners brings with it. And so, but yeah, I know we'll go into the barn and we'll play, which is like just the big room here, and they get to like play and with the ball, and John Carlos leads them, and they love John Carlos. Like,
ooh, we should get John Carlos on here.
He would be a lot of fun.
He would be amazing. Actually, Polly and John Carlos together.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Oh yeah, we did
podcast.
Polly not that long ago. Yeah, that would be awesome. But
so let me ask you, what is one thing that was a New Year's resolution for you this year that you still haven't implemented, and so we're not quite halfway through the year, but we're getting close.
Oh, we're getting there.
What is one thing?
Well, my word for the year was health, and I think that in the beginning of the year, I took that as like obvious health, like, oh, like I'm gonna, which is cool because you're doing body and soul, so I thought that was like matching. But I think that as I've been on that journey, I feel like God's actually been showing me a little bit more of, here are all the ways you're unhealthy. And so, like, which is kind of, I think, a journey that I needed to go on. And like, so then now I'm kind of starting to, okay, so now that I'm aware of the choices I was making being unhealthy, here are choices that I can make to be healthy. But health, I think, is the number one thing. And whether that be with eating, whether that be with, soul, whether that be with just my mindset, like in the way that I handle things, like, I think that I'm learning how to, in relationships, like certain relationships that I'm like, oh, do I need this? like, which we don't cut anyone out, but like, just kind of having boundaries in those relationships, but health in all areas of life and not just in the eating. Because I think that's the only thing that I've ever sought after was eating healthy. And it's like, no, there's other reasons behind why you're eating that way. So, yeah.
Well, we can help each other.
Let's do it.
We need to help each other.
Let's do it.
So, when it comes to your future husband, who's obviously saving up for a beautiful diamond ring, and he's becoming an amazing man of God at this point. Otherwise, he might have come across you by now. What's on your wish list? Just tell us a few things that that you have listed.
I mean, I don't think that there's anything specific that... Because for me, I think the biggest thing is a lot of girls, they kind of like put themselves in a box and they only want one particular. They're like, oh, like I want him to serve Jesus, and like, which is all amazing stuff. But like, I think that there's just like certain aspects of like me that I'm like, oh, I kind of like, I look for that. So I know for me, like I like someone who's funny, like who can make me, like who can laugh, because like I don't do serious very well. Like because I'm actually very serious. I think the actress part of me is very dramatic. So I kind of need someone to just be like, look, let's just laugh at it, because like we can't go on. But I don't know, I think right now it's hard for me to think about that, because I'm just so like focused on what it is that God's doing, that I'm like, whoever I think comes in, it'll just be like, oh, like...
So you don't have it like a list?
No.
You haven't written things down?
I mean, I did like a long time ago. I was like 18 in Alaska, and they were like, write a Prince list, and so
I'd like to see that list. Does he have a horse?
It's long. Like I was so like I was like blue eyes, dark hair. Like it was so specific. And like I was like, oh, can dance. Even though like I'm like, there's a lot of amazing people that can't dance.
Oh my goodness, I am married to the best dancer on planet Earth. I am so just kidding. My beautiful husband has 2 left feet.
Well, see, and that's where the fun part comes in. It's like, maybe you can't dance, but like if we're at a wedding and I'm gonna go out there and dance with me, whether you're good or bad at it.
Oh, you say I go dance by myself, because no, I'm sorry.
You were fun dancing at the wedding we went to recently.
I like dancing,
she was like,
but listen, if that was on my list, I would never have married Jonathan.
See, that's what I'm saying. My Prince list, like I don't even look at it anymore. I'm like, this is
all right. It's interesting because timing's everything, and God's timing is always perfect. But just knowing that if you are watching and you are in your mid-20s, to use this time to build your life, to grow in your character, to be surrounded with people that can help you with those things, and to serve. Yeah. Like give your life away while you can, because husband will want you to himself. Yeah. And well, actually what you want to do is you want to marry a server. Yeah. Because if you're a server, then you get to serve together, and I married a server and we have a wonderful time doing that. But then, when kids come along, am I scaring you now?
No, I'm taking it. I'm listening.
Yeah, this is like prime time to do everything that you can do to grow your life. Yeah. So I have watched that in you, and I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Yeah. And as for that Disney Channel.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, ask me something.
Like,
we've got 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Okay, we got this. Well, like, so because you're talking about lists, like, did you have a list when you met Jonathan? Like, did he cover all of those things, or?
Yeah, he actually covered them in one. Yeah, he is a godly man and is the package. And so I went from a few variables back when I was like 18 to just the one thing. A man who wanted to serve God with all of his heart, soul, mind, and somebody who wasn't ashamed to say the name Jesus. And could actually talk about Jesus, like they have a relationship with him. Yeah. And so I know that for some men that's interesting because they love God, but it's sometimes difficult for them to express that intimate relationship. Yeah. No problem with my husband. He loves Jesus, and I don't get my J's mixed up. And he's very grateful that I love Jesus, because one thing after 5 minutes of marriage I realised is that Jonathan's not my saviour. So anyway.
No, that's good.
And you've seen us together, and we're quite funny. And when I say funny, I'm like, poor Lexi. We are a really funny little couple, 21 years on.
I think you guys complement each other, which is, I think, a huge thing that people need to. It's not about being the same; it's about complementing the differences.
True.
So,
and he's 2 inches shorter than me, and I am 2 inches taller than him. But he also loves me in heels. So
there you go. Yeah, that's
all right. We're out of time.
Oh.
Nice chatting with you, Lex.
Yeah, you too.
We'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Thank you for joining us today on the Sisterhood Leadership Podcast with Dianne Wilson, recorded live from Orange County, California. If you'd like to subscribe, click on the link below, diannewilson.com, and we'll see you next week.